Hello, hello, hello again. This is your host, Toasty, for the Mental Threads podcast. I think this is episode 12. Yeah, this is episode 12. Today we're going to focus on the subject matter revolving around shadow work. Now, shadow work, from what my understanding of it, off the top of my head, it's essentially just like kind of like being a psychologist for yourself, kind of questioning yourself, looking inward to like who you are as an individual, and basically just trying to see if you can heal back from previous past traumas. In life, we all go through various struggles, as I spoke in previous episodes and whatnot. We all go through various things, and to an extent, kind of shapes our character over the years. Environment can really play into like who we are in the present, sometimes, but it ain't gotta be like that, like forever. Who you are today and who you were back then are completely different people, and who you are going to be in the future could be a completely different person. It could all be a very scary experience, because sometimes, even for me, like you might look back at the past and wonder, like, dang, how could I have avoided certain things? Or maybe if I would have avoided certain people, just stayed away from certain people and everything, and just if I would have avoided, being caught up and intermingling with very low vibrational types of folk and whatnot, and just staying away from a toxic environments, where would I be right now? Where could I be in the future? Is that going to affect my future? How is life going to be for me moving forward? A lot of these things could really play into one as an individual, who we identify ourselves as, and so on and so forth. That's just the thing that traumas just do to us. On the same token, you really can't sweat it. Um, it's best to just let the past go as best you can, but it doesn't hurt to kind of revisit certain things, just to kind of fit in like what your motivations are, or what pushes you. Why do you do certain things? What are your quirks? It's just like stuff of that nature. From my experience right now, I got a shadow work book not too long ago. Hold on one second. Yeah, sorry about that. I was actually just checking out something. But yeah, from my experience, I got my own shadow work book back in June. I haven't been really been consistent with it. I got it off Amazon. You can get one shadow work journal for beginners and everything. If you really want to get into it, it's always good to try to heal from like past traumas and try to work on it as best as you can, no matter what. Because only you can hold yourself accountable. That's just life. Um, but it's like yeah, from inside, look into the book. I'm just reading it. See, what is shadow work? Your shadow is the dark part of your personality, the part of you that harbors negative beliefs about yourself and others. Bringing this side of you to light can be a painful and difficult practice, but one that will have an amazing effect on your life moving forward. In this workbook, you'll answer prompts that will make these deep, sometimes hidden feelings surface. Acknowledging them, even thanking them, will bring you peace in many areas of your life. You may be asking, what feelings could you possibly be hiding from yourself? Think back to your childhood. Were there any emotions you weren't allowed to express? These repressed emotions can help feed your shadow. How do you feel when you judge someone or something? Is it possible that offense is being mirrored back to you, showing you something about yourself that makes you uncomfortable? Which qualities in others irritate and annoy you? Are you rejecting the idea that you may own these traits as well? We hide our shadow from ourselves and others by ignoring the obvious feelings in our body when negativity arises in us. Doing this work of uncovering your shadow will prove to you that you are enough and that you are capable of being loved. Okay, and why should you bring your shadow to light? Working on your shadow will help you to heal past traumas and hurts. You are working towards creating a more balanced life, free from ups and downs of letting your shadow rule your emotions. Or If you have been feeling not quite whole, fractured, scattered, shadow work can help to ease you back together. Your aim will be to learn self acceptance, self love, and to able sorry no and love and to be able to express your negative emotions in a healthy way. Figuring out what triggers you and starting to deal with the feelings that arise when it happens will give you a sense of power and control. You will learn to examine your excuses and start to ask yourself if you could begin to approach obstacles without them. You will begin to acknowledge unpleasant sensations in your body when negative situations arise. These are signals to help you notice and heal your shadow self of its perceived hurts. You will always have your shadow and should be gracious towards it. It is there believing that it is protecting you from wrongs that have long since passed. You can learn to be thankful for its help while releasing any negative emotions your shadow feels you need. Move through these prompts with love and kindness for yourself, and you will emerge a happier, healthier, and more connected human being. You know? So it's like, how do you do your shadow work, basically? First, always remember to be kind to yourself. These are not always pleasant thoughts and feelings that you are purposely bringing to the surface. You would not be the person you are today without these memories. So be gentle and with yourself as you heal them. This is a sacred ceremony you are performing for yourself. Make a special place for this work and give yourself permission to be pampered while you hard labor through this renewal process. Light a candle, have a delicious hot beverage, put on something smooth. I'm just really reading out the book I just had with. Light a candle, have a delicious hot beverage, and put on some music, whatever makes you feel calm and at peace. Each page has a place to mark down three things you are grateful for in your life. This daily gratitude practice is essential to your shadow work. Only when you can truly appreciate all that you currently have and are will you begin to release your negative beliefs. There is also a small space for noting anything that has triggered you throughout your day. Be sure to note any physical sensations you may experience while triggered and what caused you to react so strongly. This will be a wonderfully cathartic experience for you and will have a positive effect on your life moving forward. Stay patient and loving towards yourself and your shadow as you move together towards peace. So it's like yeah, basically all that. And that's just straight out of my personal shadow workbook. So it's like each page out of my personal one will just be like, okay, like the one I got for right now, like the first page, it's like a little artist says all of me is welcome here, and it says what events from my past have hurt me. And it's like yeah, you just listed out a whole lot of personal type stuff, like you probably just been through a whole lot of shit, like maybe you were bullied or whatever, or somebody was started a rumor on you or whatever. And it's just stuff of that nature. You could like list it all out. It's all just acknowledging it. We all go through some shit. These events could come through. And then if after that it says appreciate three things about yourself in your life. It's like I usually go like, okay, I'm an honor roll student. I have a great loving brother. And I'm just on my purpose. It's just maybe like any triggers today, anything. It's like, oh, no triggers, just me having it's kind of lost in your thoughts. Like just you be lost in your thoughts. And then we have like a whole page right here that says like when I'm most uncomfortable, I handle it by doing this. And it just kind of lists like all types of quirks that you have. Maybe you're the type of person that likes to ghost people, or you wear a certain type of clothing, uh, or you have a quirk where it's like maybe you may like avoid eye contact, or you do all sorts of stuff. Just things of that nature. I am most judgmental about and because and this could be like anything in regards to like other people's intentions. Maybe you could be judgmental about like I know for mine personally it's like other people's intentions, due to like always being like either like betrayed or just stabbed in the back, stuff of that nature or whatever. And then it's just like towards people that say that they love me, just to like because it's like I feel like I got hurt the most from people that always claim that they love me, and that's just one thing. Uh, and it's just like you just be judgmental about all sorts of things, like it's just stuff of that nature. What do I want to heal from? Okay, this could be like all sorts of things you could list. There could be a page dedicated to like what am I most reactive to and why. Haven't done that yet. What memories from childhood stand out? What feelings surface when I remember them? What things have I healed from already? How? The thing I judge myself most for is where did I learn this judgment from? You know, what feelings am I scared to explore or accept? How did my childhood shape the person I am today? What would I like to tell my younger self? You know, who has helped me heal in the past? Are they available to help me again? How do I feel when I judge myself harshly? Is it my voice I'm hearing or someone else's? How do I sabotage myself? Why? How do I want to feel most of the time? Anything preventing me from doing so? Where do I feel most at peace? Where can I go to heal? How can I challenge the things I don't like about myself in my life? The thing I most judge my partner for is what do I struggle with the most? What things can I what things can I not change? How would I feel if I accepted these things? What do I not like about myself? What things do I not like about others? The ways that I reject or invalidate myself are I could be kinder to myself by how I spend my days is how I'll spend my life. How does this make me feel? Am I mimicking any patterns from my parents? How do I feel when I notice an unhealthy pattern on surfacing? What can I change to break unhealthy patterns? When I think about my future, I'm most excited about how do I think others see me? How do I think others see me? I think others miss this when seeing me. When I sabotage myself, it prevents me from doing or having or being. What's it? When I sabotage myself, it prevents me from doing, having, or being. Do I hold grudges? Does it benefit me? When I think about my present life, I'm most proud of what are the current problems in my life? Could they be seen as opportunities? When I react poorly, what can I do to soothe myself and learn? It just goes on and on. Like I'm ashamed of myself because my close friends and family can support me better by when I'm rejected, I do this. Could rejection actually help me? I find forgiveness challenging when it just kind of goes on and on. Like so many questions. You're basically just being a therapist to yourself, essentially. Um, and I feel like it's very healthy to kind of like. It's not healthy to kind of dwell on the past in a sense, but it's very healthy to just kind of look back and just see like, okay, I just need to build myself back. I need to really like look back at myself. And it's just check out these things from my past and how can I heal from them? How can I build myself from it? What can I really do to help really become the best version of myself? And it all comes from just looking within. What can I really do to like, build from that? So it's like if we had to go deeper into what shadow work really is as a whole, you know, when you consider words, hold on one second. Damn, what the shit? You go what? Yeah, when you consider words like shame or fear, what do they bring up for you? Is it some aspect of yourself you'd rather not think about? Well, congrats, because you may have found your shadow. Within it lies some of the hardest but most worthwhile inner work we can do as people. Here we deep dive into what shadow work is all about, how to get started, and why it's so important. You know, all this. The idea of the shadow self was popularized by famed psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung. And according to neuroscientist and author of The Source, Tara Stewart, PhD, it's composed of parts of yourself that you reject. They're in your personality, Stewart explains, but you're blind to them because you don't want to see them. How the shadow self forms. The reason you reject these aspects of your personality goes back to your childhood. When we're young, we depend on our parents or main caregivers for survival. As a result, we become very attached to them and their way of doing things. So, say a caretaker scolds you for being outspoken. There's a chance you don't feel safe speaking your mind from that point on, even as an adult, because what it means to you is the person I need to love got the person I need to love me to survive won't love me if I do this thing. You know, there's a the message becomes internalized, buried within your subconscious, and can therefore become a trigger for you for seemingly no reason. In this example, if one of your shadows is around speaking your truth, it might bother you to see other people doing so. Every time somebody is outspoken around you, it might bring up unexplainable feelings of anger and resentment since you have been programmed to believe that speaking up is not a safe thing to do, safe thing for you to do. Do we all have a shadow? Short answer, yes. Long answer, according to licensed therapist and co-founder of Viva Wellness, Jor L. This nigga's name is Jor L. Like fucking Superman is that? Okay, Jor L. Caraballo, LMHC. Yes, but you might hear it called by a different name. The concept of the shadow is generally a widely accepted perspective in analytical psychology. He says, but it's by no means the only perspective of the human psyche. Shadow work can also fall under the umbrella of self reflection and self examination, etc. Regardless of what you call it, most therapists are tapped with helping clients make the subconscious conscious work, which is a full fundamental tenet of shadow work. Caraballo explains, as a therapist, I subscribe to the belief that we all have a version of a shadow that, when integrated, can be well accepted and help us better manage our own mental health and relationships. So it's just like they also explain how they do shadow work in their own ends. It's just like how do you actually do shadow work? It's basically just bringing the unconscious mind to our conscious awareness. This is something psychoanalytic theorists like Jung and Freud prize as important to maintaining psychological health. You know, Carabello tells MBG, is typically done with a Socratic approach of questioning and exploration. This entails asking objective questions that elicit critical thinking and a re examination of old stories and beliefs we hold about ourselves. The idea is that a more objective entity, such as a therapist, can help provide an interpretive mirror to the parts of ourselves we have a difficult time seeing and accepting, Carabello says. And while it is often work done with the help of a mental health professional, you can begin to explore your shadow solo too by examining your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions. Below, you'll find some prompts to help you do so. So it's like the benefits of shadow work is like basically just tapping into your intuition, depending on what kinds of things that you've tucked into your own shadow. There's a good chance shadow work can help you get in touch with your deeper knowing of your intuition. If you were discouraged from using your intuition as a child, trusting your gut and inner compass, Stewart says, then you throw that into the window, into the shadow, actually. Freeing yourself from the unconscious shadow. When we're operating at an unconscious level, our shadow effectively controls us. So while yes, facing our shadow is hard work, it's also incredibly freeing. As Stewart puts, it all sounds very negative, but it's really important to raise it from unconscious to conscious, and then it doesn't rule you like it can when it remains suppressed. Empowering yourself and accepting your strength. Interestingly enough, for people with very low self esteem, they'll often put good things about themselves into their shadow because they don't feel worthy of it. Sora explains, in an instance like that, shadow work offers us the chance to reclaim the gifts that make us who we are, which we've been hiding away, taking a step towards self actualization. If you're reading about shadow work, you're likely also interested in your own development and personal growth. And according to Stuart, yes, Stuart. Shadow work is necessary for anyone who wants to become fulfilled and self actualized, to become the best version of yourself. You need to know what the bad habits are that are holding you back or are hidden, she says. When doing shadow work, don't forget to watch out for triggers. To quote Jung himself, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. As you're doing this work, you'll become more and more aware of the little things that trigger you and why. So keep an eye out. If there's something you've always wanted to do and you see a friend achieving that, Sora gives an example, then trigger shadow because it's like, why does that person have it and I don't? Give yourself grace. Shadow work is by no means easy, in offering compassion to those parts of ourselves that have hidden away for so long is important. A lot of people put off that work because they're afraid what they'll find. Sources. There's so much shame associated with these factors, but often if you're mature enough or personally developed enough, doing shadow work can be a huge relief because you can realize it's not as bad as you think. Call on others for help. Again, shadow work is never easy, especially if you've been through trauma. If considering the shadow sides of yourself brings about pain, suffering, or fear that you feel ill-equipped to handle, it's time to seek the help of a licensed professional. I think it's important for anyone doing shadow work to have things that help them feel grounded and accepted. Carabello, who knows? A non-judgmental therapist can go a long way to help with this, but we also need our own tools that help us reaffirm and accept ourselves as we face the more difficult feelings and parts of ourselves. There are lots of ways to approach this depending on your preferences with Carabello, including grounding exercises, affirmations, and therapeutic journaling as a few options. Exercises and prompts for getting started with shadow work. Number one, think about someone who triggers you. One way in which the shadow shows up for us is in which we find most distasteful or difficult in others, Carabello says. Often, these images are a reflection of parts of ourselves that we find unlikable. So, a good place to start with shadow work would be to think of someone who bothers you and reflect on what it is about that person that might also be within you, he says. To figure this out, he recommends asking yourself gentle questions such as, what is it about this person that I don't like? Do I find that I have some of those same traits sometimes? What makes it so difficult to be around them? What parts of me does that person enliven when I'm around them? And how do I feel about that part of myself? Examine your family tree. Sort provides another starter exercise to dip your toes into shadow work, analyzing your family tree. Also, make a family tree of your two sets of grandparents, all of your aunts, uncles, and parents, because they're the generations above you whose attributes, good and bad, might be in you. She explained this practice is all about getting honest enough to say, I love my family, but one of my uncles drinks too much. Short gives an example. The next step is to really look at all those qualities that exist within your family and ask if any of those things are in you. Confront your shadow. Another exercise involving meditating on and confronting your own shadow. Once you've got a clear or at least somewhat clear view of the aspects of your shadow self, you can begin the work of confronting and releasing them with positive affirmations such as, I allow the darkest shadow that's buried within me to be released. I release fear. I release doubt. I release shame. I release insecurity. The bottom line, in this life, some of our greatest lessons will come from looking at the parts of ourselves we hide away. Because when we can bring our shadow to surface, heal, and integrate those lessons into our lives, we evolve exponentially. After all, it was Jung who said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. This all can really just connect. So that's very heavy, especially that last part. After all, there's no coming to consciousness without pain. Um, A lot of this stuff I really do agree with altogether. I think this is written by Sarah Reagan. Yeah, she's a spirituality and relationships writer. Um, yeah, man, it's very important to really take certain measures to really heal yourself because you don't want to like really hurt anybody close to you and everything, you know. And it's like I always worry about like my future, you know, where I'm going and if I've healed. And even before coming to campus and everything, you know, like there's a lot of shit that I was still trying to heal from, you know. And I don't think I was ready to even be amongst people or get close to people as like I am right now. But it's just like, you know, I still try to make the best of it as I can. You know, we're all trying to heal from something. We're all dealing with something. We're all unsure of ourselves or what our capabilities are, where we're headed, and everything. This all really does circulate. When it comes to the human experience as a whole, you know, it's just all you have to do when things are all considered is you just got to take priorities. Put your priorities in order of what you want to change, uh, what you need to get past. It's just what you're trying to heal from, you know. And it's just I especially want to work on it because if I want to start my own family too and everything, I don't want to have like you know just want to just freaking like just throw all my insecurities onto my children or people closest to me. You know, I don't want to be that type of person. And I always want to just work on myself and just be the best version of myself I can. Before I really to let certain people in on that level, you know, either be essentially or like spiritually or just romantically as a whole. Because it's just like the whole process of just throwing it on your friends or just your loved ones or anybody that you're looking to love, you really have to build on yourself as a whole. That's just how what I believe in personally. The world is a very big place, and there will always be someone out there that'll love you as you are. But it all comes down to really just you have to love yourself first, and it's just like you know I'll say all this shit and everything. And I still have to work on myself as a whole. Um, but yeah, that's just stuff to leave on the last note of everything. And it's just like you know whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to heal from, whatever type of abuse you're trying to heal from, whether you're trying to balance out your divine feminine and masculine, whether if you're really trying to open the doors to love people again, it all just starts with just learning to accept the self, which we're all trying to work on because to tell the truth, you never really know who you are until you pass away anyway. You know, I know even Itachi Uchiha said that shit in like an anime and shit, but it's real shit though. Like you really don't know who you are until you really live this life out and see it all the way through. And you know, according to my spiritual guys, I'm 23 right now. I still got about like how much time? Like about like what, like 57 more years? Yeah, about 57. 57, 67 some years left on this earth, man, which is crazy. Um I don't know. Sometimes I can't really see that I could actually live that long, you know, to be like 80 or 90. You know, I be feeling, I'm surprised I even made it to 23. I'm going to be 1,000% on. I'm going to be like 1,000%, like for real. Like, I didn't even think I'm reached this far. I thought it was just. To be honest, I kind of feel like I'm just winging it, like especially in this life, you know, like this whole adulting shit. There's always something you gotta pay for. There's always something that you need. Always some kind of bill you gotta pay for. That reminds me, I need to fucking check out what's up with my car, man. They probably towed my shit. That would be some bullshit. Anyway, like yeah, let's just that's it for the 12th episode of the Mental Threats podcast. Hopefully, I can get more people on, and it won't be just me just talking. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. Dude, I really need to cut this shit out, but it's like you know, whatever. I just be winging this stuff now. I'm just trying to put as much content as I can. Maybe I could work on like editing a little bit more. I really don't even know what to say. I think I feel like I said enough in the outro, but hey, you know, it's just a common habit now. All right. it sounds weird, it's because I'm doing it through Bluetooth. I think I'm just gonna go back through aux because they're not getting this shit right. Yeah, no more Bluetooth. I'm gonna just stick to aux cord.